Welcome back to A Better World. This is your host, Mitchell J. Rabin, and I'm very glad you're joining us again today. Today we are on location on New York's Upper West Side, in the penthouse, actually, of Rabbi Joseph Gelberman. Rabbi Gelberman is a well-known pillar of the spiritual community in New York City, and actually more than New York City, in the country and beyond. He is Hungarian-born, he's lived an extraordinary life, and it is truly a gift and an honor to be able to be sitting with him on location in his kitchen. We thought about using the living room, but we decided on the kitchen, even more homey, or more heimische, as we say in Chinese. So we can sit here and have a discussion about some of his work. We'll only be able to touch upon a little bit of it today, but the rabbi has been responsible for the establishment of several interfaith seminaries in New York City over the past number of decades. And he has authored a series of books as well on Kabbalah, such as this, and Kabbalah as I See It, which was the subject of our radio show on Progressive Radio Network some time ago, and Physician of the Soul. And it goes on. It goes on. His work is really a legacy, and it's really such a pleasure to have him on as a guest today to talk about just some of what he has accomplished over the years and what he has come to realize in his, actually at this point, 98th year. So Rabbi, shalom, shalom.
Shalom.
Good to see you.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. Toda rabah. A pleasure to be here with you.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. I know I just touched upon a little bit, but your work, as I said, is really a legacy. You have given so much to people through your work as a rabbi and as a leader in the interfaith community. Can you talk about what it was that initially inspired you to start the interfaith seminary movement, really?
That's a good question, and I'm so glad you're asking that, because this is the kind of a question that everybody should know the answer to begin with. Everybody knows a sentence that takes only 6 words in the Bible, the Shema Yisrael. You're probably familiar with it. You went to Hebrew school.
No, I did not.
But you know the Shema Yisrael.
I've heard it many times.
Heard about it. It's a part of every prayer, and it's even used now in churches.
Really?
And the 6 words are Shema Yisrael, listen, O Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, the Lord our God, Adonai Echad, the Lord is one. That there is only one God. And the importance of that message is that we are all one family. Of course, you and I met before, and the people that are around here met before, but the important thing is that basically we are still all children of one father and mother, which is God, who is the father, and the mother, the Shekhinah, which is called the Shekhinah, the mother patria. And we are all
the feminine aspect of
the feminine aspect, and we are all their children, and therefore the message to learn is, and therefore we should realize that we are one family.
Yes, exactly.
Somebody reminds me
One
of
mishpucha, as we used to say.
Say it again?
One mishpucha.
One mishpucha. I had a bar mitzvah boy, not...
I was quoting your language.
Yeah. A bar mitzvah boy a few months ago, and we talked several weeks, and finally he gave his speech, which is a part of it, what he learned. And then he added something which we didn't learn, but he picked it up. And he told the story of the Shema Yisrael. And he said, at the end of his talk, look at my brother. And his brother was sitting right there, who was bar mitzvah 3 years ago. by this same rabbi. We live in the same family, we have the same father, the same mother, the same mishpocha. We sometimes are worried with each other, we don't even talk to each other, and we are annoyed with each other. But he said, would I ever think of killing him? He's my brother. That is the answer.
Mm-hmm.
The answer of the Shema is true, but which one? The truth of the matter is that nobody seems to know this. I got this as a message from an angel when I was very young, and I told my rabbi at that time in the yeshiva, and he said, don't even ever talk about this. It's not a part of our tradition. What did the message tell you? The angel told me that whoever copied the Bible the first time into the prayer books and into the Bible missed one sentence that is missing now all over.
Oh my.
And what is that sentence? It's another Shema Yisrael. It says, Shema Kol Hu Amim. With all the
whole
people
world.
in the world.
All the people.
Kol Hu Amim Sheber Olam in the world. And for what purpose? The message is Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. And in addition to the Shema Yisrael,
Yes.
which we honestly take, no Jews take this as a tradition to teach, even though we are Jews and these are Christians, we still are the same, the real Jews saying, yes, it's all right, you're a Christian, we are still brothers and sisters.
Yes, indeed.
And that's missing.
I understand.
And
Echad Olam.
Right.
The whole world.
So that is
One
missing.
world.
And therefore this should be put back now.
Wow.
That's why that's a
And
good
so
question.
that's the basis, yes, of your wish to create and establish
That the
these
average
interfaith
folk will know
seminaries.
that it was originally in the Bible, and for some reason or other, whoever translated it the first time messed up this one sentence.
They were doing a lot of transcribing.
The truth of the matter is that in addition to Shema Yisrael, it also says Shema Kol Hu Amim Sheba Olam. All the peoples in the world will have to learn that we are one family because there's only one God, and therefore we are all brothers and sisters. So therefore,
Wow, that's quite an omission.
Yes.
You know.
And then this is what I'm trying to bring. Most of my books are based on that. And just my good friend over here, Judith, was kind enough to bring another little book called
Yes.
Spiritual Truths. And this is for every day. You have to read this every day. It's every day.
Yes.
Every day. And then there's one reading for every day. This is, and then on the page. For instance, this will be the 16th of the month, but it is not. Then this will be the day that you read.
That you read, sure, of course.
In other words, you know the whole thing by heart. But this is every day.
But let's go back to the interfaith for a moment.
Yeah.
What has been the overall response to your establishing these seminaries? Has it been embraced well? I mean, I've known a number of your students over the course of actually many decades. But I'm wondering, in the larger religious community, both Jewish but also in general, what has been the response? Has it been an open...
The people are eventually, I have created about 4 of them, and then others...
4 interfaith seminaries.
4 interfaith seminaries. The other about 6 of it, and it's working.
It's working and still going.
No question about it.
It's fabulous because it's
It's
an entire movement that
the most important
it helps to
thing
bring
to
people
learn
of
about
the different faiths together.
And I say if you buy this little book, it's only about $5 to go to. and a lot of thousands of people have bought it.
Yeah.
And they constantly have to reprint it.
A few thousand
Then
people times $5 isn't bad.
No, not bad at all. So I say to them, get it and read the whole book. But after you read it, therefore just read the one assigned for that day. Now today I understand it's the 28th,
Mm-hmm.
then read that. So I would read that, the 28th, which I didn't read
Okay.
yet.
Okay.
Every day I read
It's
the
still
day.
early
This
in the
is
evening.
the one thing that I add every day to all the readings, because I like this message the best. Therefore I would like to mention this to you here.
Okay, fine.
And this is called, it's called Live Life Joyfully, because this is the basic message.
Your
Without-
life is an expression of
Without
that.
joy, there is no life. See?
Yeah.
So the word itself, this is the, so here comes in the Kabbalah. For example, I'll give you an example when I used to walk, especially when I was a little younger and I was able to walk, I would take out a little time every morning and walk to Broadway just to get myself a cup of coffee and to see people.
Mm-hmm.
And people would know me by then. Good morning, Rabbi, how are you? And I would tell them, fine. And after a while, for several years, I said to myself, I'm not telling the truth to the people. I'm not fine. As a matter of fact, nobody is fine. There's always something wrong, either in the mind, in the body, or the soul.
Something.
We are made up of these four parts,
Yes.
and each one of us, we have a body, a mind, a heart, and a soul. And unless we do everything on these four levels, we are going to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
And most of all, many times we do it with the body, with the mind, and the heart, but we leave out the soul. I'll give you an example. You get up in the morning and you are a fine human being, and you have prayers, and you get up and you have a breakfast, and it's a fine breakfast, and you enjoy it, but you forget. So the body had a wonderful time, the mind had a wonderful time, the heart, but you forget to say thank you to God. The prayer is missing.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, you won't have problems with your heart, with your which I still have, by the way. Even though I say prayers, but not at the same time. So therefore, I added this one in addition. Do you read it well? Then you read it. Do me a favor. Read it so that everybody can understand.
Okay.
Now this is not, this is in addition to what's assigned for that day. I add this every day to the assignment.
In addition to the Torah portion.
Yes.
Live life joyfully. Joy is a definition. Psychologically, it relates to our capacity to discover our self-defeating mechanisms and transmute them to self-fulfilling experiences. Spiritually defined, it relates to attitude and discovery. It is a question of interpretation of experiences and our reactions to them. It's not so much whether good things happen to us as much as how much good we can find in experiences. Joy hovers omnipresent. It waits to be tasted or ignored. The pursuit of joy is a dynamic. We must constantly ferret out its nuances. It is contemplative. We perceive it in subtleties. But always we are the mariners, charting the compass, plotting the course, setting the sails. Joy is the result. It depends on our vision. It depends on our insight. Very beautiful.
You told me you attended some of our
Classes?
Not only the classes, my
Birthdays.
children.
Birthdays.
Yes.
I have attended your last few
One
birthdays.
birthday, one big birthday, they wanted to know how do you explain joy? And what did your father think of it? Because he was the one who constantly worked on that word. He said that's the most important part.
Mm-hmm.
And they want to say that Kabbalistically now, every word is a part of the whole sentence.
Mm-hmm.
So joy means joy, the word joy. The O means to be optimistic, and the
Why?
Y means what?
I don't know. Is why?
The Y is
I don't know. But when it comes to you.
Oi.
Oi.
So my father would interpret this.
Yes.
He said, no, the answer is always joy. And the O is a part of joy, optimistic. And the Y, he said, I really don't know exactly what it means, but I usually make a song out of it. And I think about it, and I say, the Y. Yoy, 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 yoy. It's joy, but I made it into a joy. Joy, joy, la 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 la. So in other words, it all depends on us. God gave us, we all have parents, we have a mother and a father, and basically we are their children, but basically really, we are all God's children, and the Shekhinah is in us. Therefore, it's entirely up to us. What are you saying when you create problems? Are you worried now? Are you full of problems? Or you get up in the morning and you say,
I'm glad I'm alive.
and you just somebody, I think he just said, you said, I said, he said, Hakol Baseda, all is in divine order. Everything is in divine order.
Mm-hmm.
Because God created it. And then everything is in order.
On the radio show, you shared something very beautiful,
Yeah.
which was when you wake up in the morning, you say in a sense that you die every night. And in a sense, we all die every night.
Right.
And when you wake up in the morning, you're so glad you're back with us. Could you share with us, because I've heard you speak this
Well,
also at your
people ask me, for example,
gatherings.
when is your real birthday?
Yes.
Of course I have a birthday. But my birthday is every day.
Yes.
Because for instance, like last night, at least thousands of people passed away. Because you went into somebody's room and all of a sudden they said he's dead or she is dead. She hasn't been sick, nothing happened.
Uh-huh.
But the soul didn't come back.
Uh-huh.
And if the soul doesn't come back, then the body is meaningless. That's why we burden, some people still burden the body, or they bury it. It has no meaning at all without the soul, and without the heart.
So in other words, the soul comes back into the body.
Into the body.
Where does it go at night?
And at night it goes back to God. Because every soul, there's a beautiful sentence in the Talmud that said, and I asked this question when I was a young boy, and we celebrated Hanukkah. I wanted to know if God is using Hanukkah candles, and where is he going to buy them? We use it every night, Hanukkah, but here's you get what God would need probably for every day. And the Bible said, the Talmud says, Neir Elohim Nishmat Adam. The candle of the Lord is in the soul of every human being. So he's not waiting for Hanukkah, he's waiting for every day. But if each soul gets up in the morning with the whole idea that I'm alive and there's a God, and starts with the morning prayer, tell me, Lord, what to do today, because I know you created me to be your son or your daughter and tell me now what to do. And therefore, I have to have God. I'm God's created.
Yes.
And God, and
Creation.
we say God is going to help me. And what am I going to help God? What's God doing for me? And what is God? In other words, when we say God will help me, only if I help God.
So what you're saying is that's right. It's a two-way street. That it's a relationship. It's not just one doing
No,
for another.
it's really-
And that becomes, in a sense, an analogy for the way we are as human beings with each other. You can never have a situation where only one person is helping another
God
always.
God's soul comes, takes it. At night he goes back to heaven, and in the morning he comes back. And therefore, it's up.
Then we say, thank God. Then we say, thank God, for sure. Now, you have the distinction, Rabbi, of having blessed us for so many years. Many, many beings do not reach their 98th year. You have, and last I heard, you're intending to be around till you're 120.
Please.
So at this point, I know you're still young, but I would like to ask you anyway, in the 98 years that you have had, I would like you to share, if you would, with the audience, what is it that you feel most people really need to know, what we need to know from your vast amount of learning and experience? What communication to people at this point in time in our human history?
Again, basically, the relationship that we have with God, that God is our parents. We have a father and a mother, but basically, who created me? It was God who created me, who gave that power to my father and mother, but basically God is my father and mother. That's the most important thing.
Now, when you're looking around at the world and you see what is before us, as our problems, as our challenges, economic, political, at this point, geological, there are more earthquakes happening, more bizarre storms occurring, more actually corruption in the corporate world, in the political world. There are wars that are raging. The United States is in the longest war it's ever been in Afghanistan. What is your response when you see this? It's, of course, good for everyone and deeply important for people to remember that God is our Father, and Shekinah, there's the feminine aspect of God as our mother. But on a practical level, what do we human beings do to cooperate with each other?
This is what we started in the beginning.
Yeah.
That very sentence, whoever copied that Bible for the first time, left it out, and that is the most important message. Shema Cholu Amim Shebe Olam. Let all the people in the world realize, regardless of the Jews, Christians, Muslims, Hindus, rich or poor, whatever they are, what is the message? Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, that there's only one God, therefore we are all children of that one God, and therefore God needs us as much as we need God. If we would realize this one idea, and like that little Bar Mitzvah boy who looked at his brother, he said, would I ever think of killing him? Sometimes we don't even talk to each other, but would I ever think of killing him? No, we are one family, one mishpacha. And if that would happen, there would be peace on earth.
Exactly. No, it's very beautiful and very true. If we can regard each other truly as one family, then our ability to take up arms, so to speak, becomes eliminated.
When I wrote this book here,
Physician of the Soul.
Physician of the Soul, what I'm trying to do now is to convince all the doctors. The problem with my doctors is they know every little bit about our body. even about the mind.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely nothing
About the
it.
soul. Yeah.
So, you know, that's
Physician of the soul.
so
Exactly.
I'm going to find and do it and offer them this as a study. Physician to learn something, physicians.
Wonderful.
So the doctor would be a real doctor, you know,
Yes,
to
exactly.
heal us.
So it's dealing with all the elements,
Like
all the
doctor
aspects.
today, he was a friend of mine, and he was happy to see me. But he not for a moment was he.
And there you saw Rabbi Joseph Gelberman in what might be the last video taken of his life. And about 6 weeks after we shot this video in his kitchen, he passed on Rosh Hashanah, September 9th, 2010, at the precious age of 98 years old. Hi, my name is Mitchell J. Rabin, and I am the host and producer of A Better World Radio and TV. And I just want to say, as a friend of Rabbi Gelberman's, someone I met back in the early 1980s, and someone who's been really very important to me for many years. He is a symbol of the interfaith movement in the United States. He is beloved by all who have known him. And it is my honor and pleasure to be able to offer this to the world as what might be actually the last footage we have of him in this life. By all who know him, he will always be loved and cherished. His wit and his wisdom will live eternally. Thanks so much for joining us, and visit us at our website where we have both video and audio of Rabbi Gelberman at www.abetterworld.net to share with all.